Hey guys, so I get asked a lot about self-driving cars and do I like them? Do I ever ride in them? And I do. We've got WAYMO, we've got like 5 different AV companies in Austin, and I come to Phoenix not super regularly, but you know, from time to time for work. And I'm in the back of a WAYMO right now, so I thought I would just film a quick video to kind of show you what the experience is like. I love these things, to be honest with you. And they actually seem, it's funny, they seem way more stable here in Phoenix, but that would also be explained by the fact that they've been in Phoenix a lot longer than Austin, sorry. So let me flip you around and take you for a ride. All right, here we go. There is no one in the car with me. So literally no one in the driver's seat or passenger seat. This is, all Waymos are Jaguar I-Paces, which I'm assuming is because nobody else would buy these things. So Waymo took them all, but you can see nobody in the car. I don't think they ever go on the freeway, at least they don't in Austin. So, yeah, because I don't think you would want these, you know, going like 85 miles an hour in Texas. But Phoenix is, if you've never been to Phoenix, there's, most of the city is pretty, in a pretty small area. So you've only got like arterial surface roads. And so it's like the perfect home. It's probably exactly why Waymo started here. I have not yet taken a cyber taxi or RoboCab or RoboTaxi, whatever it is that Tesla has, and I don't plan to because of the lack of technology. I'm 99% sure even RoboTaxi is still just using vision, where Waymo's got, oh, you can't see it from in here, but Waymo has LiDAR, radar, and like I think 5 other redundant systems. So I feel more comfortable that this car knows what's going on around it at all times. I also really like in here too that it shows you where you're going, it shows you the route, it shows you what it's seeing. And you know, here's the thing, there are times when I would much rather be in an autonomous car, because in certain situations, and I don't mean to make this about, you know, gender or whatnot, but like I can also imagine, and I can back this up because some of my female coworkers have confirmed that they feel this way too, but in certain situations, certain times of day, you know, it can be a little bit daunting in certain cases and places for, you know, late at night or whatnot, for a woman to get in a car with a stranger, or even for anyone to get in a car with a stranger. Again, not making that about gender, but yeah. So in here though, you know, you've got, sure, the tech could fail, theoretically. We hope it never does, but you know, theoretically. But at least there's no one in here. There's, you know, no stranger in here with you. Maybe especially after you've had a few drinks or whatnot. So, yeah. I also find too, I'm not sure if I've said this yet at this point, but I feel like the riding experience in here, just kind of the way that the car moves and the way that it kind of navigates some of the things that we've been encountering along our ride, it feels really natural. Like, I mean, if you didn't know that there wasn't a human there, like, it feels like there's a human driver in here with you, just with the way that it handles certain situations. And it's interesting because, you know, there are certain situations where you actually do want the car to be more aggressive, the same way that you would be as a human, and, you know, kind of not hesitating and hesitating and hesitating. And here in Phoenix, more than Austin, but again, probably because they've been here for a lot longer, the car does really seem to understand the roads the same way that a human does, you know, when you've learned an area. So I really like that. We can change you can play music. I'm obviously not right now because I'm filming this video, but we've got temperature control back here. We've got, you know, you can pull the car over at any time. I'm not going to touch that because I need to get to the airport for my flight out out of Phoenix. But yeah. See, so that car over there has been driving kind of slowly, and the car actually passed it because it's safer to be, you know, doing the speed limit right now, as you can see. Oh, now he speeds up. But anyway, like on the stretch back there, that red Camry was doing like, I don't know, 20 in a 35 zone, and the Waymo didn't feel like that was safe, so it kind of moved around the Camry in order to, you know, get up to the speed limit or a safe speed. So yeah. Okay, beyond that, this is just a really nice, really comfortable place to be, to spend a ride. These cars seem to be better maintained than most Ubers out there. I swear every Uber I get into that's, like some random person in their car, there's tire noise, there's brake noise because, they probably haven't serviced their car properly and, all this kind of thing. These cars though, I mean, it's a Jaguar, so who knows how long it's gonna last, but they seem to be really well maintained. They're always very clean. They never smell gross or whatever. It's an EV, so the ride is quiet, comfortable. You don't have any kind of like jerky behavior from, like a bad powertrain. I've actually never heard one of these cars. The only problem that these cars tend to have, just, from my experience, the wheels are always caked in brake dust, but that's about it. The inside is always really well maintained. So yay, good job WAYMO for making sure that they're providing a great riding experience. So yeah, this is not, by the way, sponsored by, or, I'm not trying to make this like, a positive, go ride a WAYMO kind of advertisement, but like, I've personally never had any bad experiences with WAYMO. So if I told you it sucked, I'd kind of be lying because I don't have any, basis for that opinion. So yeah, let's get back to our ride. So what you just saw there, this Accord moved in front of us, and the WAYMO didn't like slam on the brakes, because it saw the car moving in front of us, but it gently kind of pulled back. It slowed, it slowed down to create a safe following distance between us and the car, us and that Accord. It's, again, very natural, comes to very smooth stops. Oh, and one thing I did want to also show you here, so I don't know if you can exactly see this, but you can see there's all kinds of equipment up on the roof that is part of the kind of central brain of this whole experience where, that's connecting all the LiDAR, all the radar, all the vision, all the cameras around this car. This is really, when you ride in a WAYMO, if you're willing to ride in a WAYMO, this really is probably the future of not mass public transportation, obviously, but personal public transportation, if you will. As it goes, you can also see it is probably, I'm assuming it's pulling data from both the cameras and, high fidelity advanced mapping technologies, but you can see, it knows every lane marking, and not just the fact that this is a dual lane split road, but the fact that we have, a small shoulder on the right, a small shoulder on the left. It also happens to know here, you can kind of see down here, that we have rail tracks for the tram system here in Phoenix through the center of the road. And it's also, the WAYMOs in Phoenix here seem to be, in my experience, really good with navigating, when trams are crossing, when you have a level crossing or something like that, where a tram car may actually cross over a lane of traffic. And so not only then are you thinking about other vehicles and stoplights, but you're also thinking about, okay, am I going to have, a tram line come right through here? And what does that mean for, where a car needs to stop and things like that? So yeah, it looks like we're arriving in about 5 minutes to Sky Harbor Airport. Oh, and see, you can see we just passed the tram. It's even recognizing that on the LiDAR of the car. And that's also, by the way, too, I don't know if I've mentioned this just yet, but everything, you see how it's kind of forming that train there? This is real-time synthesization, whatever. In real time, it's generating those 3D objects that it's perceiving through its LiDAR sensors, which is, again, better than vision, because LiDAR is actually, it's basically this thing that spins around, hundreds of times a second to map in three-dimensional, like true 3D, what's going on around the car. So not only is it like seeing, hey, I think that's a van, or I think that's a truck, it's actually, okay, and here's the exact distance down to like the millimeter that, this car is away from that object. I'm sure there are people, who will ride these and kind of be untrusting because, that's natural, obviously, to not fully trust these things. But, here's the thing. I don't know if it's because I live in Austin where we don't have great drivers, but like these cars drive better than most human drivers, myself included. I'm a very aggressive, impatient driver. And if you're going slowly, like I probably do create dangerous situations when I get impatient. But these cars, I will say this thing is a better driver than I am and than most people, in Austin are. Now, do they tend to stop sometimes, like, to pick people up or at a curb where maybe they shouldn't? Yes, 100%. There are times, I'll put a picture in the video, our parking garage at our building downtown, the WAYMOs like to stop right in front of our driveway, and so I have to honk at them to kind of move from time to time, like maybe once a month or so. So I think that part of it could, probably be improved. But like, there's a reason and a way that Waymo's been able to get away with not, like, literally operating these vehicles with nobody inside and not have a tremendous, safety hazard or anything like that. I mean, these things have been running around now. Like, people think of this as new technology, but these things have been around for, I would guess, probably 5+ years. I'll put the actual fact in the video here when I get home to look it up. But they've been around, especially here in Phoenix, for a long, long time. All right, so here we are arriving at the airport. We are headed to Terminal 4. You tell the car in advance when you book your ride where you want it to take you because, most airports have many different terminals and all that kind of thing. We are flying out on American this morning because we've got status and we got an upgrade and things like that, and we have lounge access. So we're going to Terminal 4 at Sky Harbor Airport. There we go. It's navigating the different roadways and such. I'm gonna have to stop filming this, once we get there to get my stuff out. But yeah, what a nice morning in our little Waymo. I hope we never get to the point where all cars are autonomous and humans stop driving, because I love driving and I love taking a road trip and stuff like that. But I think you have to admit there are times and places where something like this is a really great value add to society, especially for folks who maybe can't drive due to a disability or whatnot. Like, there are obviously times, oh perfect, look, we're about to merge into a steady stream of traffic. The car is kind of looking for a way in. It kind of cut that close against that Corolla, but that's okay. Again, back to, there are certain situations where you want the car to be a little more aggressive. That was exactly one of them, because if it just let everyone go by, we'd be sitting here and I'd miss my flight. So yeah, it's seeing cones now because we've got, or I'm sorry, those little barrier things, because we've got those there. It's navigating all the traffic. It knows exactly what curb it needs to take me to. So yeah. Anyway, back to what I was saying though, like if you're a disabled person and you can't drive, right, due to a handicap or whatnot, I'm sure that's not PC terminology. I apologize if it's not, but there are a lot of people for whom I think something like this is going to provide a lot of freedom that they wouldn't otherwise have, because they'd be reliant on like public transportation, like a bus or a train, or a human operated vehicle, like a traditional Uber. And there have been so many stories out there about kind of nasty Uber drivers not letting service animals aboard and things like that. And that's required by Uber. It's just people choose to be assholes about that kind of stuff. And these Waymos take that kind of human bias out of the equation, because there is no human here to have a bias. Here we go, we're navigating. I love taking these to the airport because I love watching them navigate these, kind of like real tricky situations where, things are not always clear and people are always lost and, cutting in and out and stuff. These cars handle it really confidently and really well.
Drop-off will be at ground level. Check-in is on level 2 and security is on level 3.
Thank you, Waymo. All right, so it's probably going to pull us up right here. So I'm going to stop filming.
For safety, the doors will remain locked when we arrive. Pull the handle twice to exit. The first pull unlocks, the second opens the door.
Perfect. There's another one. Oh, that's what the cars look like, by the way. You can see all the LiDAR and the radar and stuff on the top, on the sides, on the back. That's why I trust these so much, because they have so many systems on board that allow these cars to figure out literally and exactly what's going on. And there's folks unloading out of another one. All right, I'm gonna grab my stuff and we'll head inside.
You're here. Please make sure it's clear before exiting.
All right, guys, we got to the airport. I'm talking kind of quietly because I'm in public. Thanks for riding in a Waymo with me. And now I'm gonna go catch my flight.